Welcome to Smart Questions. This is where, as a team, we take challenges that have come up from conversations we've had with clients in the last few days, and we explore some of the key salient points from it. It's not all about what the textbooks would say, and we won't necessarily come up with all of the whole range of solutions, but the idea is that we cover enough that there's at least a good takeaway that you can have that will help you to address that particular challenge or question that has come up. So we hope you find it useful. Granger, welcome to another episode of Smart Questions. What's the challenge or the question that we've got this time?
Oh, no, an interesting one. So I've heard that there is some funded growth support where I am. Should I access it?
Okay, so this is an interesting one, quite broad. Where do we start with this, Granger?
Well, let's first of all sort of think about a business owner first of all. So a business owner they'll create their business. They're going to be real detailed problem solvers because they're every day there's issues to be resolved as they're building and developing the processes and the systems to deliver whatever the client wants and market to the clients and get the sales processes running, etc., and get the money coming in. All these things we have to do and all the problem solving. So we're going to be sort of focused on problem solvers, but I think what we really need to first of all think about is some of the stats behind business success in the UK. And I know, Kevin, you've got quite a few of these, so let's just go through some of the key stats.
Yes, well, we know. Yes, we know that something like 10% of businesses will fail within the first year, 20% within the first 2 years, and in fact, about 50%, just short of 50%, will fail within the first 5 years. And then if we're looking at 10 years and beyond, there's only about a third of businesses left that will get through that 10-year mark. So we know that businesses drop off. And if we look at the scaling up side of things, we know that in the UK in particular, we're something like third on the stats board for startups across Europe, but we're 13th for scale-ups. So there's something that's not going right there. We're good at getting and encouraging businesses to start up, but then we're losing them somewhere in that process versus other countries.
So there are lots of stats that show us that businesses fail. So, the hypothesis in terms of, should I get support? Well, do you know what you don't know? That's the real thing, isn't it, about a business? We may be very good at doing the tactical creation, the tactical activity, the reason we set up the business in the first place. But there's a whole aspect of the business and the structure of it that we really need to understand and know in order to get right, to beat those numbers and to make our business growable and scalable in terms of doing that. So would I get involved in funded programs? Well, yes, because first of all, what don't I know that I need to know to be successful for my business to thrive and to deliver what I want from it?
And you've just made me think about Stephen Covey and his stages of our development, our growth as people. And it's similar with businesses in that we start off as a baby where we're completely dependent on our parents, don't we? But then when we become our teenagers, we strive to be completely independent, don't we? We want to be in control of everything and argue with everything and but then as adults we start to realize that we need to work with other people. We need that sort of interdependency that goes on, and it's the same with business. And we often talk about teenage businesses, where as you say, as a founder, we are those driven people typically that want to get something off the ground and want to solve the problem ourselves. But there comes a point, hopefully, when we realize that actually there are benefits to learning and listening and talking to other people, because those challenges of building a business are not unique to an individual business.
No. And that brings me to mind in terms of, I'm too busy, how can I afford the time in terms of doing that? Well, there's two questions. One, are you really busy because that's where you want to be? Have you got to the point in the business, the size of the business once you achieve and you're totally happy with that? Great, But actually, if you're too busy, maybe there's something not happening in your business that should be. That is time to stop and think and reflect. So the other thing that a funded program will do for you, it'll have those moments in time where you have to stop, because you have to be able to do the program, otherwise you don't get the funding and the support from it. So you have to do it. So you're going to have to do those moments of stop, reflect, and think about your business. As we talk about this famous, time on your business, or rather not in your business, in terms of doing stuff. So that will help you really sort of do that and start to understand why you're so busy and what it is you need to do to develop your business to allow you that to happen.
And of course, the question was about funded support, but actually, really, we can broaden it, I think, to support in general. In the, why would you access support in general? And obviously, if it's funded, that can be very helpful in that we don't have to pay for it. We've still got to commit our time to
Absolutely.
it, of course. So what are some of the benefits, do we think, in addition to stepping back and thinking, that we might get out of support in general?
So if the support has maybe sort of a peer network type activity within it, then you're probably going to get some inspiration. You're going to have that moment of time where you may be challenged by whoever's leading that activity, but also across peers, you'll get that inspiration of, yes, I can see that, or I hadn't thought about that. That wider aspect than just the standard blinkers that we all have on ourselves, even though we're the problem solvers. Hence why we've created the business and doing stuff in the first place. We just will have that wider view to be able to really understand things.
Yeah. And I think I saw a post the other day actually about why you shouldn't have a business coach, for example.
Okay.
And it was implying that you just need to get on and just take action, essentially. And I think there's an interesting challenge in there, in that any good support will be getting you to the point where you will be taking action. There's no point in going on some kind of program or course and just listening and going through the motions and then going back and doing your business as you would. You've got to be approaching it, and any well-run program or support will be helping you to think differently, opening your mind up, also laying out perhaps the path ahead and the obstacles that you might be about to come across that you may not even be aware of, but most importantly, things that you will commit to taking back to your business and put into action.
Yeah, and I just want to pick up on a previous comment that you made in terms of understanding the typical challenges. Where are you going to find that information in terms of what are the typical challenges that are to come, not just here today in front of you, that are to come as your business grows and scales. And it's about going and finding that information. So a funded program is one way of finding that information. You could read books, you could listen to podcasts, but all of them come down to that one thing in terms of taking action. I totally agree in terms of that. But what action are you going to take? Where's that action guidance come from in terms of doing things? We're not all just instinctively creative business entrepreneurs that can build businesses and everything else. That's a huge amount of information. How do you get that information, and how do you know which is the right bit right now in terms of the action that you need to take? And that's the key thing. And a funded program will help you, give you some of that thought and that knowledge to make the decision of what action do I need to take now.
Yeah, and also act potentially as that sounding board, as you say, particularly if it's peer-to-peer support, where you've got a group of other credible business owners that may have been through some of these challenges that you've had as well. They're that sounding board for you to outline what it is that you might want to be thinking about doing, or how you would go through approach, and bouncing ideas off of them.
Absolutely. So I would access that free activity. Maybe sometimes they're partly funded or whatever, whatever's out there in terms of doing stuff, and start going to learn those other aspects that could then decide what actions you need to do. And going back to, if you are really busy now, I don't have time. Well, actually, it's time to stop and improve your business life. So actually, you can have the time to do this, because that's the really important aspect that you need to build over time.
Yeah. So approach it really, you like any other business decision, approach it with a bit of an open mind, but have a look around, because there may be different kinds of programs that are available, and all of our time is limited. So let's focus our time on the ones that we think will add the most benefit, but don't close your mind off to some of these programs without really fully trying to understand the benefits that you might get from them.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Granger, thank you very much indeed. If you found that useful, imagine what it'd be like coming along to Scale Up Club, where you'll have other business owners that will be raising challenges, but helping you to address your challenges on an ongoing basis. So just look in the description and the comments to find out how you can come along to the next Scale Up Club. And also, why not have a look at my book, The Entrepreneurial Scale Up System? You'll find the answers to all sorts of questions in there, along with that system of how to scale up your business. So hopefully look forward to seeing you soon.